Yo, what's up, guys? Leafs lose 2-1 to the Detroit Red Wings in overtime, guys. Man, another frustrating loss tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Detroit Red Wings have swept the series in series against the Leafs, guys, sweeping them 4 games this year. Just a really unfortunate loss tonight. A vital game where the Leafs needed 2 points. Unfortunately, only coming away with 1 point tonight, guys. Losing again to Detroit in overtime. Just an unfortunate loss again for the Leafs. I thought the Leafs played well in the first 2 periods of this game. Third period was not very good. Overtime was not very good. The Leafs had great chances in this hockey game, guys. You had a great chance by Matthews early on in the game. You get an early goal 4 minutes in with a great play by Scott Laughton to dump the puck in the corner. Starcher does a great play to keep the puck in the offensive side of the ice there. Lorentz is able to get the puck there, pass it to Yarncrook with the tip, and Laughton's able to get it in there wide open in front of the net there to make it 1-0 Leafs. It was a beautiful play by the Leafs there, and they were playing good hockey, Detroit as well had fantastic opportunities as well, but Joe Wall was absolutely spectacular in that first period. Made some incredible saves, made that one save in front of the net on Comfer, made that other pad save on Johansson where there was that mad scramble in front, and Joe Wall just sticks his sticks his pad out at the last second there, and I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, how did he even was he able to even see that puck there and make the save with his pad? So it was a great save by Joe Wall. Kept it at 1-0 for the Leafs majority of the game. And then, unfortunately, as we saw late into the first period, Detroit gets a goal because, Jake McCabe doesn't play the puck properly. Austin Matthews isn't back checking quick enough. And we obviously see Edvinsson get his third goal in 4 games against the Leafs. Really frustrating to see that goal scored on an on-man rush like that by Detroit there to tie the game up. Edvinsson's got his third goal in 4 games against the Maple Leafs, and the Leafs had ample opportunity, like I mentioned, to add another goal. You had the great chance with Scott Laughton getting a penalty shot, of course, at one moment in the game. You also had the other opportunity where Nick Waugh hits a post at one point. Robertson had a point-blank chance in front of the net there. Cowan gave him a great pass. So there was great opportunities for the Leafs in this game, guys. There was just many, many chances. Riley had another chance in front in the second period where Robertson passed it to him point blank. Matthews had some chances in the second period as well, driving the net a couple times, had a great opportunity on the power play with the slap shot there, but John Gibson was spectacular tonight as well against the Leafs, and the Leafs had 2 decent power plays, but then you get a guy, obviously, like Morgan Riley, who's on the power play. He just really stagnates the power play, doesn't shoot the puck enough, always makes the simple passes, never does the right thing or the thing that threatens a goal or a shot on net. It's just really frustrating to see Morgan Riley on the power play. I know William Nylander's not playing right now. We lose Oliver Ekman-Larsson in this hockey game, which is an absolute gut punch for us Leaf fans. Already down a guy like Chris Tanev in the lineup. To not have OEL as well now for God knows how long is just a real problem to have, But in the second period, like I was saying, the Leafs were the better hockey team after the Detroit had tied it up. I was worried that it was going to change the momentum for the Red Wings, but the Leafs came out in that second and were really firing. Like I mentioned, the 2 power plays there that the Leafs unfortunately didn't score on. Matthews had some chances. Robertson had some chances. The penalty shot, like I mentioned, there was some very, very good opportunities. The Leafs had Matthews had knives on a 2-on-1 where he missed him. Michelli had a 2-on-1 where he chose not to pass to Matthews and Gibson made the save. So, fantastic chances for the Leafs in this game. They even had that one and only opportunity that they really threatened to score in the third, where Knies was able to deke in front there, give the backhand passes to Veras, but Gibson makes the save. And Matthew Knies is really battling right now. Obviously, he's injured, really dealing with some stuff. You have to leave the game and return, but the Olympic break cannot come soon enough for a guy like Matthew Knies, who's really dealing with some nagging injuries, of course, but then you have some guys there that just really drive you nuts, like Calle Yarncrook, who didn't have a stick because you have to give it to Stetcher, takes a penalty, of course, Leafs are able to kill it off. Riley does some crazy things that drive us all nuts. McCabe hasn't had a good couple of weeks, but in that third period, man, it was like the Leafs were very content getting a point in this hockey game. Getting outshot 13-5, Detroit hemming them in their own end, having ample opportunity to score the go-ahead goal, the Red Wings. But Joel Wall was fantastic in this game tonight, guys, making 39 saves on 41 shots. He gave the Leafs a real opportunity to win this hockey game tonight compared to his other two starts that were not very positive against Minnesota and Vegas. Those were not two good games by Joel Wall. He bounced back tonight, responded well, gave the Leafs an opportunity to win tonight, but the Leafs, unfortunately, squandered too many chances in this game, like I mentioned, guys. You give Detroit opportunities in the third and getting outshot 6-0 in overtime, like, inexcusable, man. And then Easton Cowan. Lord have mercy, kid. You know, you've taken some stupid penalties the last couple games. 3 really dumb penalties in the offensive end of the ice that really have hurt the Maple Leafs. He's taken 5 bad penalties in 9 games, guys, you know, and then what he does in overtime. You know, Easton Cowan's been playing some great hockey. You know, he's been really moving the puck well. I think he's been playing some great hockey with Robertson and Wall, but man, oh man, you cannot do what Easton Cowan did. Thinking that he can body Moritz Snyder. Like, dude, you're in the first league of the NHL, man. You're a rookie. Thinking you can body an NHLer like Moritz Snyder, who's been in the league 3 to 4 years. You know, it's not the OHL, man. And you try to hold him off like that, and he completely bullies him off the puck. And then completely screws the Leafs. And then as we saw, Dylan Larkin buries the opportunity. And I'm just saying to myself, I think Easton Cowan needs to sit for a game to get his head on right. You know, sometimes he doesn't look confident in his own end. Sometimes with the puck, he looks scared. It makes me very nervous seeing what I saw from Easton Cowan the last couple games. Very, very frustrating. Now, he had some good moments, like I mentioned, with some passes. You know, gave Robertson a couple great opportunities. One chance to Waugh as well. So he's been playing some good puck at times, but then there's some times where he looks inconsistent. He looks like a rookie at times, and he showed that a little bit tonight, and that's just a back-breaking goal and turnover for the Maple Leafs. You know, like I've been saying, you cannot squander the opportunities that you have right now. You know, you got Buffalo playing Montreal tomorrow. You got Boston playing Vegas tomorrow. This was a vital point that they needed tonight. The loss to Minnesota as well is a 3-point swing. If we had won the Minnesota game and won tonight, we'd have 60 points. We'd be a point ahead to Sabres. Okay, Buffalo has a hard game tomorrow night against the Habs. You know, one of those teams is losing. Gets the Leafs closer to a divisional spot. Keeps them in a wild card spot. Boston's got a tough game against Vegas, like I mentioned. This was squandered opportunities tonight. And the Leafs, in your home ice, after getting your 7-game home winning streak snapped the last game against Minnesota. That's how you perform in the third. A team desperate like you are right now, who had a shit start to the season, you know, needing points right now. Points are at a premium right now. You need every single bloody point. And that's the effort you have in the bloody third? Like, that's inexcusable, man. You were really good in the first and second period, especially in the second. You outshot Detroit 14-7, then you get outshot 13-5 in the third, and then 6-0 in overtime. Like, this doesn't look like a hockey team that was hungry to me to get 2 points tonight in the third period. You know, the third period is probably the most important period in the game. You know, that's how you set the rest of the game up. Like, honestly, you know, too many guys disappeared in the third. You know, sure, we had some good defensive efforts in the first and second period. You know, we had Brendan Carlo block a shot. Stetcher played well again tonight, you know, but Ekman-Larsson going down. McCabe hasn't been having a good couple weeks. And then, you know, you turn the puck over like that in your own end in overtime. And I'm just thinking to myself, these are not plays that playoff teams make and that championship teams make. It's not possible. You know, it's not possible for a team like the Leafs to make the playoffs if you're showing this much inconsistency game in and game out. Like I said a couple videos ago, you cannot go on a stretch of going like 10 straight games with a point and then losing 2 in a row. You know, it's not good enough. You know, you're lucky they came back against Winnipeg on Saturday night, or else they'd be in big bloody trouble here. You know, this would be 5 in a row. Honestly, they are very, very lucky that they were able to accumulate a couple points through overtime in the Vegas and the game tonight. Because if not, this is a 5-game losing streak we're looking at here. The inconsistency isn't good enough. And I understand we're dealing with injuries. God knows how long OEL's out for. You know, no Tanev, no OEL, no Joshua, obviously no Nylander. These are guys we're clearly missing. But still, you got to get points. Everybody's dealing with injuries. But this is the performance you have in the third. The first and second period was good enough. but the third is inexcusable. And same with overtime. Detroit, they're a great hockey team this year. Sure, I have my questions about them, but they've accumulated 32 points since December. John Gibson has a 16-2 record in his last 18 games. They're getting goaltending this year. They're getting timely scoring. Their players are showing up. Guys like Larkin, DeBrincat, Edvinsson has been breaking the Leafs' balls. Patrick Kane. Those guys are having good years. Detroit's having a solid year. They're top of the division. These were 2 points that you absolutely needed, and you absolutely squandered them. You had great opportunities tonight. Matthews looked good tonight. I thought Michelli had some good moments as well tonight. Knies, who was dealing with stuff, had some good moments as well. Tavares had a couple moments, but not enough at times in this game. The third line was chugging at times in the O-zone. I liked what I saw from them. Had some great chances. But again, you don't bury your chances. You're at risk of losing a game. And that's what I said to myself. The more and the more the game went on, I said to myself, if this Leafs team doesn't bury a goal soon enough, and they go to overtime, there's a very high risk of losing. Detroit's 8-2 in overtime after tonight. The Leafs are 7-8 in overtime after tonight. It's very clear and evident that Detroit thrives in overtime. The Leafs are subpar and under 500 clearly. But listen, you got some great performances like I mentioned. Scott Laughton again. This guy here, an absolute dog. He said it himself in his post-game press conference. He was tired on that penalty shot. I wish he just drove the net and slap shot it. Goalies do not like when guys go in fast. I'm a goalie, so I'll tell you that easily. Goalies love when a guy comes in slow, like Laughton did. And he did exactly what Gibson wanted, and it benefited the Red Wings. That was a goal that they needed. But other than that, I thought Laughton played great. I love his grittiness. I love his toughness. I love his mentality. A guy that I want extended by the Toronto Maple Leafs. But unfortunately, guys, not good enough tonight. Too many mistakes tonight by the Leafs. You got Easton Cowan really killing the Maple Leafs tonight with 2 costly errors. The stupid penalty that the Leafs were lucky enough to kill, but then the costly turnover in overtime. You got to think better there, kid. Either dump the puck into the old zone, or just skate backwards to the back of your net, get a line change or something. But to do what he did there was the worst mistake he could make tonight, guys. It cost the Leafs a point. Buffalo and Boston stay ahead of the Maple Leafs in the standings. If they continue to drop points, the Leafs, things will get even tighter. Points will even get tougher to come by because teams will also be fighting for the same positions at the Maple Leafs. These are games you need to have, and things aren't getting easier either. We got Bitch Marner and his new team coming back on Friday. We got Buffalo on Monday and Colorado on Sunday. These are not easy games coming up. So the Leafs better get their act together, or we could be possibly looking at like maybe five losses in the next 6, or 6 in the next 7, or maybe 7 in the next 8. It could get ugly very quickly if this hockey team here doesn't start burying their chances, starts preventing stupid turnovers, and they got the goaltending tonight. Luckily enough, they got the goaltending tonight, but they need to continue to get the goaltending moving forward. Limit the turnovers, limit the stupid penalties, bury your opportunities when you can, but with the injuries now, with OEL, possibly who knows how long he's on for. Hopefully he's not out for a long period of time. Tanev, who knows what happens with him. He might be requiring surgery. We don't know what's up with Willie. Joshua looks like he's going to be skating soon. So hearing things about Stolars as well, guys. So the Leafs are really dealing with shit, like I mentioned. But like I said, it don't matter. You still got to play the games. You got to find a way to get goals, guys. Maybe bring up a kid like Jacob Quillen. The kid's got pace. He's got speed. He could score. He's a nice player. Maybe give him an opportunity instead of a guy like a Calle Yarncroc, honestly, because what I'm seeing from him is not enough. Even though he got an assist tonight, there's just too many times where I say to myself, there's too much guys having a disappearing act in hockey games, guys. Craig Berube, I got to question why Austin Matthews wasn't on the ice for overtime sometimes and near the end of the third. He's got to be on the ice. The captain's got to be on the ice more often. Has to be on the ice more for the crucial moments of the hockey game. Wanted to see him on there more, but we need to continue to get points, man, because if we don't, the playoffs will continue to dwindle away. The Leafs had chances tonight, guys. They didn't bury them. They turned over the puck at the worst possible moment by the rookie, and it buried them, guys. Detroit had great chances to win this game. So did the Leafs. But unfortunately, Detroit has just shown this year they're the better team, the more structured team, and they're just finding ways to win hockey games, the Red Wings, right now, guys, and the Leafs are not. So, Leafs are showing some inconsistency. They got to get back on the horse, find a way to beat Marner and the Knights on Friday. That's going to be A massive, massive game. Whoever is going to Scotiabank Arena Friday night, boo the living shit out of him. For me, please. Whoever goes there Friday, boo the crap out of that bratty little shithead. Please, guys. But, guys, that's it for this video today. Unfortunate loss for the Leafs tonight in overtime. Luckily enough, they did get a point, but unfortunately, 1 point is not enough right now. We need to be getting 2 points per game now, guys. You know, Leafs cannot afford to be losing hockey games right now, man. Things are going to get tighter and tighter and tighter as the months continue to roll. You know, we're already almost in February. It's January 21st. February's not too far off, guys, you know, and then we got the Olympic break coming up, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully some guys can recover, recuperate, and then we'll see what happens. But, guys, big game on Friday night against Vegas and Marner. We'll see you guys then for that game. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this game tonight, guys. So if you like this video, subscribe if you guys got it and want to see more content. Go Leafs, go as always, guys. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Leafs Unfiltered. Ciao, guys.